What's up, geeks and gamers, and welcome to Gaming with Geeks. I'm Lethal Lightning, and over the past few days, while also dealing with the massive headache of moving house and all the drama that goes along with that, I've also been playing Marvel's Avengers, the beta, over on PlayStation 4. Now, this beta is being released in 4 waves, I believe. So first, we had the PlayStation 4 beta, next is the Xbox, the one after that's PC, and then after that is an open beta for everyone to come and play. So that means you can play it again if you want to. So I, of course, played on the PlayStation 4. In order to do that, I did have to pre-order the game. I pre-ordered the game to get access to the beta, and I was going to use the beta to make a decision on whether or not I will keep the game. So there are a few things I want to touch on in this video. Unfortunately, I didn't get to play the game as much as I wanted to due to everything else that was going on, but I was still able to put in a fair few hours of this game. So in my opinion, the biggest issue with this game is it does not know what it wants to be. It's essentially a Destiny clone mixed with an Avengers skin. That's basically the gist of this game. You know, there's a whole lot of loot collecting, gear collecting, upgrading your armor, upgrading your skills and all that type of stuff. A lot of cosmetic skins to unlock down the road as well, especially in the full release of the game. I was surprised of just how many were available during the beta. Now, the beta was actually pretty big. There was a whole lot to do in this beta. But my problem with that is it ended up being very repetitive. Their combat in this game is decent, it's pretty fun. They do a really good job of making every character feel different for the most part, with some exceptions that I felt this just seemed very similar. But when it came to the actual gameplay itself, it's very rinse and repeat, and I do want to stress that this is just my thoughts of the beta, not the full game. A lot of the environments looked very much similar. A lot of the combat situations ended up being the same type of stuff, you know, defend 3 points while it hacks, destroy all the objectives here, hold off enemy here, whatever it may be, and then progress to the next area. But what was pretty cool about that is there was some real open, big areas. Unfortunately, you can't explore them as much as I personally would have wanted to, but maybe that's just because, you know, I'm used to the Spider-Man PS4 type exploration with a game like this. But it does have a relatively big map in most missions, which opens up the abilities for other objectives as well as the main objectives, which you can go and do throughout your play on that particular mission. Now, during the beta, we didn't have access to the full roster of characters for the most part. The main 4 characters we were given was Kamala Khan, unfortunately, Black Widow, Hulk, and Iron Man. Now, I've seen a lot of people are ranking who they thought was the most fun to play as down to the least. So if I was going to give you my thoughts on who was most fun, number 1 to me, hands down, was Black Widow. I really enjoyed playing as her. She had really cool combos that you could pull up. She actually had a bit of a focus on aerial combat. I played her very similar to how I would use Spider-Man PS4, you know, juggling enemies in the air, keeping them in the air, and trying not to touch the ground. But she's also able to pull out pistols and Uzis if you unlock them down the skill tree. I did find her pretty fun to play as. Oh, on the subject of the skill tree, there's a lot of skills in this game, and in the beta we were only given access to 1/3 of the skills, so there is quite a lot of skills in the game. Next up would be Iron Man. I enjoyed playing as Iron Man. He was pretty cool to fly around as, but I do feel flying around as Iron Man, they need to make him move faster. I didn't really feel like I was just cruising through the sky as Iron Man, you know, like just blasting those engines. Didn't really get that feel, but it was pretty fun, you know, beating people up with him. He is actually what I think most people would have enjoyed the most. Next up was Kamala Khan. Yeah, I thought Kamala Khan was somewhat decent to play as. They really did a decent job of making her feel useful for her abilities. She's essentially the healer of the group, but she does have the ability to enlarge and, you know, try and copy Ant-Man from Civil War was what they went with. Not that big, but it was a pretty good ability in the end. But Kamala Khan, she's still cringy as ever. I don't think she'll ever not be cringy, but this, in my opinion, is the most I have cared about Kamala Khan ever, and even that is not really saying a lot because I didn't really care a whole lot for her. And unfortunately, Hulk I felt was the least fun to play as. It's just so clunky. He felt really, really slow, and I understand, you know, he's supposed to be a behemoth, he's not a speedster or anything like that, but I mean, like, the control input for him just felt really slow and delayed because he just moves so slow. And in the story mode, what we're given access to of the Hulk, they kind of use Hulk as a platformer, which I didn't really understand the point of that. Now, we were also given access to Captain America and Thor, but only for the first mission of the game, so I can't really judge them too much. I will say, based off my very brief impressions of the characters, was Captain America was pretty cool to play as, Thor was kind of whatever. So we are given access to 3 missions that, at least in the beta, were not replayable. So the first one was the A-Day mission, which we knew was going to be in there because that's essentially the start of the whole thing. I don't want to go into story spoilers for those of you that are interested in that, but it essentially sets up to why the Avengers had to deassemble and why the whole game's about reassembling. And they use Kamala Khan to kind of put together the Avengers, which I think is just a cringy concept inherently, but I won't judge that until I've seen the full thing. Earlier on, I mentioned that there's a lot of loot and gear in this game because it's essentially trying to be Destiny, but of a superhero skin. Now, the beta did drastically turn up the loot drop rate, and I was burning through loot pretty quickly. I was, constantly swapping out, and there is a really good user interface for the game, in my opinion. There's a button to just automatically equip best gear, and then you can go through and change your gear, because you can use your gear to come up with different loadouts for each mission. So if you know that you're going into an ice zone with a lot of ranged enemies, you can set your gear up for your characters so that they have, gear that will do more damage in that situation. Now, you are always in a team of 4, so if you're playing solo, you will pick which character you want to use, and the other 3 characters will be AI, and they will use the gear and skins you have selected for them. So it does make sense to try and balance every character loot wise and level wise to keep them all roughly the same, unless you just go absolutely crazy like I did and put all your best stuff on Black Widow and put nothing on Kamala Khan. Now, I was also able to play a few rounds online with just random people that I encountered. All of them instantly chose Iron Man when given the option, so that's what I mean by I feel like a lot of people probably enjoyed Iron Man the most. Playing with other players was pretty fun. I didn't have too many issues connecting, but I have seen a lot of PS4 players will having drastic issues with that. I will chalk that up personally to a beta glitch. Glitches that I did experience with this game, I'm not going to fault them on because, again, beta. For me, mostly it was audio glitches, but my concern is there's less than a month until the launch of this game, so hopefully they can have it all fixed by then, but, well, we'll see when we get there. Now, another thing I want to touch on for this game is that there is hardcore potential to do some real anti-consumer scummy moves when it comes to battle passes. Now, each character has a thing what I believe was called the challenge cards or something like that. It's essentially a battle pass. Well, in the beta at least, there was no option to pay real world money to pass through it, but you also didn't have to buy the battle pass, which is different to something like Call of Duty, for example, where you have to buy the battle pass. You can level up the battle pass all by yourself, or you can throw real money on top of that to progress through it faster. This did not have that option. Every character automatically had their battle pass thingy-me-jiggy, and you were able to progress through them by completing character challenges which reset daily and weekly. The weekly challenges offered more points towards the pass, while daily challenges offered less. Now, if there was a challenge that you were particularly stuck on, you just couldn't pull it off, you did have the option to refresh that particular challenge once per day. So obviously there's a lot of potential for microtransactions there, but at least from what I saw from the beta, it was all purely cosmetic stuff, so not really too much of an issue there in my opinion. But I do want to point out that each individual character had their own battle pass system, which I thought was just a little bit bizarre. Maybe it would have been better to have one just massive one where you can go all the way through them. But then I guess it does make sense if you're maining one particular character, you want to upgrade, you want to unlock all their stuff as opposed to other characters' stuff. But still, every character having their own pass. The reason why I think that might be an issue is because I don't know how this is going to work if it's going to be something like Call of Duty where you have X amount of time to complete the pass before it resets. Now, if they do that, I think it's going to be extremely difficult for players of this game to finish every single character's battle pass in the allotted time before it resets, and then there's going to be the real fear of missing out, which is when they will go, hey, by the way, you can just throw in some real money to progress through it faster, nudge nudge, wink wink. That's where I feel the controversy could come from with this game. Ultimately though, I found this beta to be a very mixed bag. I found some stuff to be really enjoyable playing and having fun with, but other stuff was just such a drag and, dare I say it, boring. Where I feel most of the fun this game will come from will be with playing with other players, getting together with friends online and coordinating your actions on missions. There is a lot of potential for a lot of fun there, and to be playing as some very memorable Marvel's characters, excluding Kamala Khan, of course. I even had a fair amount of fun playing by myself. Now, the big question is, Am I going to get this game? The answer is yes. Do I recommend this game? No. If you're looking for an authentic Marvel Avengers experience in a video game, this ain't it. Now, if you were thinking this was going to be on the level of Marvel Spider-Man PS4, not even close. This is a loot-driven game. If that doesn't interest you, you're not going to like it. Even if it's got a superhero skin on it that you do enjoy. At the end of the day, it's a loot-driven game. But the reason why I'm going to get this game is because, now while I do agree there's a lot of criticisms to be had with this game, and I mean quite a fair few, I still found it enjoyable on a subjective level. On an objective level, I can't tell you it's good because that will be a lie. And also, I do think this will be a really fun game for me to stream because I know how I'll react to it and I know how the people in my chat will react to it, and it's going to be fun. So yeah, that's my raw thoughts on Marvel's Avengers beta. Like I said, there's an open beta coming up towards the end of this month. I do recommend giving it a try, you know, see what you think of it for yourself. That's always the best way to try out a game in my opinion. But for those of you that have played it, what do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below. For those of you that are on the fence about it, are you going to give it a try? Let me know. Be sure to subscribe to Gaming with Geeks, share the video around, leave a big thumbs up on it, check out geeksandgamers.com, create an account, consider becoming a premium member for exclusive content over there. Stay safe, take care of yourself, and I'll see you all in the next video.